Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the CrossWinds Church More Than Sunday podcast. I'm Chris Coley, the senior pastor here at CrossWinds, and we're excited you're joining us. Today, I have got Zac Hamstra, who's our middle school director at CrossWinds. I've got him on the podcast talking to us about what it's going to look like for middle school to start regathering, rebuilding, getting back together again in their own kind of phases. If you are the parent of a middle school student, you're going to want to listen. Enjoy this. Hey everyone, I'm here with Zac Hamstra, who's our middle school director, as well as our level up director, that's 4th and 5th grade. And we're going to talk a little bit about the phases that are going to be happening in student ministry, especially middle school, on this podcast. Zac, thanks for joining us, man.
I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to get to talk about this. I'm excited about the idea of reopening.
I know, dude, it's been a while. And people are wondering what is going on. And so it'll be fun to kind of talk through some of that. And we actually have some new information from the county health department that'll help with all of this and play into what we're thinking. So we'll share all of that. But before we do, how are you, man? What's been going on in your world the last couple of weeks?
It's been a lot of the same stuff of working from home, meeting with students from home. The big thing that we did was we started, I know it was just an idea back in the last time I was on here. We started a Minecraft server. So I've been playing Minecraft with just tons of students from our church.
Now, is a person listening to this who has never played Minecraft, and at the most I've seen my kids do it years ago, and they've been like, "Dad, come look at the house I built on Minecraft," which is basically a replica of our house in real life made out of blocks. I don't know. Help us understand, why are kids playing Minecraft?
I personally don't fully understand even the draw to it. I know the first couple of days, I was really excited to be on there and I was playing more and I had my own visions of what I wanted to do and things like that. And I think it's the same draw that Legos still has, that idea of being able to build what you want. And our server is kind of restricted in that if you want to build something, you can't just creatively make it. You have to go and get the resources that you need to be able to build it.
Oh.
And it's kind of cool. I've watched over the last 2-3 weeks, I've watched our students create their own economy where they're trading resources in they built a shopping mall where people have rented out stalls and said, I have a lot of this resource. I'll trade you this resource for that. And that
That's
kind of
cool.
thing.
So this is basically virtual Legos in groups. Is that right? That you can do it together.
That's exactly what's happening. Virtual Legos
All right,
online,
man.
connecting and socially distant and being healthy and safe. It's great.
I like it. All right. Well, I've learned something today. That's, as a parent, I figured something out. So thank you for that. All right, man. So first of all, before we get too far into this, Zac is our level up director as well as our middle school director. And as such, he leads our 4th and 5th graders on Sunday mornings in their kind of specialized, almost like student ministry type setting. And we've always been real excited about that and continue to be. But Zac, one of the things that we've been talking about is that the things we're going to discuss today have more to do with the eventual regathering of middle school than they do level up, right? We're not really ready to quite start making some moves with 4th and 5th graders yet.
Yeah, we, as I was talking with some of my level up volunteers and asking them if we could do things in a way that could keep our 4th and 5th graders safe. We talked that we might want to just hold off on it a little bit and really work with the kids department and what they're doing. We are still meeting online virtually every week at 9:00 for specialized time for 4th and 5th grade students to get to talk through their ideas and really begin that process of opening up dialogue around Jesus and what that looks like.
I think we felt like at some point in all of this, there are some struggles with keeping 4th and 5th grade socially distant, just like the rest of our children's ministry. I know you may feel like you've got a fourth or fifth grader, not you, Zach, you don't have kids yet.
Not yet.
But somebody listening may go, my fifth graders be awesome at this, no issue. Yeah, but there's a bunch of others who are not, and that is the struggle. So we're ready to move forward with some regathering stuff in middle school as we've been released to by the health department. And actually, like I said multiple times on these podcasts and in my message a couple Sundays ago, we're actually going to be a little behind the health department just to not be jumping the gun or moving too fast. But for level up, we're not quite there yet. So let's talk middle school, which at CrossWinds 6th, 7th, 8th grade.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about kind of what your phases are going to be, Zach, and what you're thinking.
Okay, so I know CrossWinds has an amazing four-phase system. Ours is a little bit different in that we're doing three phases, specifically addressing the summer season. We're taking a break from our normal Wednesday night gathering of small groups. We have promotion coming up this Sunday, and so we just have a lot of transition. And so it felt like a good turning point to say, hey, we're going to take a break from our standard groups. And this summer we're launching summer study groups, which are specifically looking at reading through a book of the Bible with our middle school students.
Mm.
And myself and the other leaders are all going to be picking different books of the Bible to look at. And so it gives our students some options on what they want to learn this summer, what they want to dive into. And with that, in our first phase of reconvening, some of those groups will be held online and some of those groups will be held on campus outside. And it just gives us, again, a ton of flexibility this summer to react to how the health department guides us. And one of the things that I'm really excited about is the fact that as we're talking about social bubbles, that if you enroll or have your student enroll in one of these summer groups, you don't miss out on having a social bubble yourself. They are it is their extracurricular activity now. So we would encourage you to explore that as your students' extracurricular activity over the summer, because it's going to be really fruitful. It's going to be really awesome, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit here and just kind of explain to people a little bit of what's gone on. So maybe you've heard by now, if you're in Alameda County, that our county has opened up the opportunity for people to again start meeting with people outside their household. And the way they've described it is what they're calling social bubbles, which I'm excited about. In fact, this is kind of cool. When we had our phone call as pastors with the Alameda County Health Department and the director that was kind of talking with all of us, they kind of gave us a hint that they might be doing this and asked us as pastors if we thought that this kind of thing would be helpful. So I like to think we kind of got to speak into it a little bit. And
I'm glad they didn't take your name, Quaranteams.
I know. You know what? I didn't present that. I didn't present it, but they came out of that with what would it be for us to like say to households, hey, look, you could open up your household to two more households. And what if, a household of four has another household of four and another household of four? And basically, for like 3 weeks, you all commit to each other. You're not going to see other people. You are, dare I say, monogamous with each other in this weird kind of 12-person relationship. And you just say, this is our only group. We're only seeing each other. And that way we won't, get each other sick, infected, all these other things. Well, the county has released that as of this past Monday. We're recording this on what's today? Man, it's Wednesday. It all, I don't know about you, man, but it all just kind of like blends in at this point in my life.
I have been calling it Blur's Day for the last Blur's days,
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, Monday they announced that this was going to be going on, and what they also announced, and this is kind of cool, is that students, junior high students, high school students, they can actually have their own bubble outside of their household bubble, or in addition to, that takes place in the context of some kind of like extracurricular activity, right? That's what you're alluding to, Zach.
Yeah, that was, and that's what I'm talking about, and that inward looking
Yeah.
bubble almost, you know.
So, if Andrea and I decide, all right, well, we're gonna hang out with this other family and this third family, and our kids are going, but what about us? Like we have friends in the neighborhood we want to see, or we have these other people that we want to go spend some time with. A friend from school I haven't seen in 3 months. Alameda County is saying, go for it. Your kids can set up an additional social bubble. Your students for themselves. Zach, what you're saying is, well, let's do that. What would it be for your kid, if you're comfortable, parents? What would it be for your student to be in a an additional social bubble, making it this Bible study group that they would be a part of over the summer? Yeah.
Yep. And the fun part about it is that these Bible study groups are going to be co-ed. So if you have, like friends, like we're not going to put any constraints on who can go to the groups. We're only going to be putting constraints on how many can be a part of the group, as a way to kind of keep us safe in that way. But it's a way that, like, generational friends. I know that Chris, your daughter, has a friend who is now entering into middle school, and they can both join a group together.
There you go. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great. I think it's a great idea. And again, let me just say, I think we're going to find different families at different places of comfort on this. And we mentioned that a few weeks ago with any of these phases that we're doing with adults. And I'll say the same thing with middle school. It's okay. There's no judgment for any family or student to say, I'm not ready to do that yet. Just like there's no judgment for those who can't wait to do it. Everybody's got different circumstances, different people at home with their own levels of immunocompromisation. There's that word again, huge word.
it's so long.
But as we know that that's true, we would just say as well that we'd love to see people start to come online with this. And you may not be ready right now, your student, but they may be ready in 8 weeks, and you might go, all right, we're gonna make this happen. So, Zach, when are you starting these? What's your plan? Even though I
Okay.
know we've been allowed to do it as of this last Monday, what's your timing?
Yeah, so like I said, we have our promotion, like our changing of the guard, changing of the grades happening this Sunday, and that's actually third grade going into fifth grade, or fourth grade. Sorry,
Third grade goes into fourth grade, man.
oh man, I can't believe I messed it up. Fifth grade entering into middle school, going into sixth grade. Our eighth graders entering into high school, and we're going to even be celebrating our seniors that are leaving high school. Daniel and I are doing that together on Sunday. But so not this week, but the following week, starting on the 14th through the 21st, you guys are going to have the opportunity to register for these classes. With the menu option, we'll get. I'm working with the communications department to
The
get
Bible study groups, is that what we're talking about? Register for
the
those?
Bible study groups. So you have that week to register. We're not going to be holding any groups that week. We're going to be taking a little bit of a break, a rest, a Sabbath in that moment. And then starting the 21st is when these menu groups will start. And we're going to, again, offer both physical in person for those that are ready and virtual. And those will be clearly laid out when you register for the different Bible studies that
Yeah.
have that stuff going on.
Great. It sounds as if, just so people are clear, if they were to register for the in person ones and drop off their middle school student on campus, it is not what they were used to before, where they'll show up and there'll be a ton of middle school kids all running around with each other and touching each other and in a gaga ball pit throwing something at each other. These will be more isolated based on the group. They'll be in the same group each time as part of what we're trying to do to create these bubbles, right?
Yep. It will
Yeah.
be the same 10 kids that have registered as well with them,
Yeah. Yeah.
in addition to an adult in addition to an adult leader.
We've talked about at some point as things continue to get eased, the restrictions, opening up the chance for s'mores out on the campus as the more kind of casual event thing becomes a little larger, or again, as people are feeling like it's safer. So we'll keep you informed on that. And then I know you're also going to continue to do online Minecraft video games, video chats, things like that on Sunday morning and right? Is that still the
Oh
plan?
yeah, totally. We are going to be offering. So we're still doing the online Minecraft server where students are connecting. It's great. It's been really cool to see. We're going to continue to offer. Again, we're some of those classes are online. As we enter into phase two, which is our medium-sized group, which is kind of more of like where middle school falls on a general Sunday anyway, is a
Yeah.
medium-sized group.
Yeah.
Um, we are, and we don't know when this is going to happen, but in that medium-sized group, it's kind of going to be more of a service type role for our middle school students to kind of get back into that habit of getting a message and playing a socially distant game. That's when we kind of will enter in games back into it. But we're going to hold off on the worship in phase two for middle school because uh, kids, when they sing, yell. They don't really sing yet. They just kind of yell. And so that's a lot of respiratory droplets going everywhere. So we're just going to hold off until phase four when we really, or phase three, which is reintroducing that
Yeah.
musical worship
So
portion.
you see a time coming down the line here with this where you'll add in like your next phase is a middle-sized gathering, which will look a lot more like what you're used to doing in middle school on Sunday morning,
Yeah.
and maybe even some of the fun stuff that happens on Wednesday nights, and you'll start to bring those things back as we go, but wisely holding off on some of those things that are indoors and involve a lot of loud singing and droplets hitting the air. Makes sense.
Yeah, and so I hope that I hope the students are excited about this study groups as me and the other leaders are excited about it. We have really been planning and talking through what that looks like. And the cool part about another really cool part, and I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, so I'm hoping you're still listening and you're grabbing this part, is that these are actually not going to be just Wednesday night. They could be Tuesday morning, or I'm going to be leading a group on Sunday at 11 o'clock, um, uh, which is our normal Sunday service time. When we're all meeting back in person. So we are just offering them at really um, cool, fun times that could maybe fit to open up your schedule in amazing ways.
Well, as you said, it's Blur's Day right now, every day, and so as part of that, it makes sense. It's hard to stick to a schedule. Everything is kind of up in the air in most of our lives. Um, Zach, what we did not talk about yet, what we haven't spoken about, is Hume Lake and camp this summer. I don't know if we've talked about that on a podcast yet. And I think it might be worth just sharing with everybody what has happened there and what we might be thinking about as an alternative as we go.
Yeah, we are still trying to kind of pay attention to the camp atmosphere and what the camp can look like for this summer. Hume Lake hasn't completely closed down. The week that we were planning on going still has spots that are kind of in flux. But they're starting to kind of say, hey, we canceled the first couple of weeks. We might want to give priority to those people that were registered for camp. And so we are still in discussions about if we can make something with Hume Lake happen, but realistically, the cost, the planning, and all of that stuff is out the window a little bit. Luckily, there's not a whole lot of planning besides getting us in a bus and getting us there, but
Yeah.
it's a huge program. Their program might not look the same this year as well. So we're looking at alternatives such as campouts and different things as restrictions uh, are alleviated and things like that. And what that looks like going into July, late July, and maybe that first week of August before school starts.
Yeah, I think as much as we would love to see something like Hume Lake happen, same with houseboats for high school. We just know realistically, well, we know for sure houseboats has been canceled this year, and we're going to be doing something else, which is a real bummer. And I'd say it's very likely that that's the case for middle school too. I mean, we're already in June. When were you guys planning on going to Hume Lake?
We were actually looking at July 12th, which is about a
Yeah,
month away, and I've been talking with Hume Lake. They haven't officially canceled, but
Yeah,
it
they're
sounds
going
like
to cancel.
it's
Yeah,
canceled. So
yeah. And even if
uh,
they don't, we're going to find ourselves saying, well, in our county, which there's a bunch of kids from our county who'd be going. It's not like it's just people who are local to the Hume Lake area who go to Hume. It's people from Southern California, people from all over the state, right? We would look
yeah,
at this and say, hey, look, 4 weeks from now, realistically, can we put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of middle school students together at a camp? Probably not.
yeah. And so yeah, the official cancel hasn't quite come yet, but it's right on the verge. We're right
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah. So Zach's working on some other ideas that we feel could be safe and healthy, and the kind of thing that your kids could still be involved in, and so we're excited to keep working on those.
yeah, and as always, I love feedback. I love hearing from parents, and if you have ideas or anything like that, please reach out to me. I'd love to hear them. I might not use all of them, but I love to hear them, and I love to hear from you guys. It's student ministry is such a team effort, especially for our middle school students. They still love their parents so much that they want them to be involved, and so we love to hear from you guys what you think might be great for summer and for us to connect with students because we want to connect with them and point them to Jesus. That's what we really want to do.
Awesome, Zach. Hey, man, thanks for your leadership. I know this is a really unusual time, and nobody ever thought when they'd become the middle school director they'd be walking everybody through this kind of thing. So I appreciate it. You're doing a great job.
Thank you so much, Chris.
All right, man. Take care.
See you next time.